We are cooked. Genuinely, it's over. Most of us will never own a home, never be out of debt. We'll have to work for the literally the rest of our lives. The cost of living has gotten so high, you have to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, just to afford your necessities. We won't see any of the Social Security money that we pay in taxes every paycheck. We don't even see where our tax money goes. We send billions to other countries. We spend trillions on our military. Our country is permanently in debt. $40 trillion. $40 trillion. Boomers and millennials, I mean, they elect people that don't keep their promises. We get lied to constantly. And Gen Z, my generation, are the ones stuck to having to fix that. 60, 70 years of things that need to be fixed. And I don't even know if it's even possible. The boomers are currently hoarding everything. They're hoarding all the wealth. They grew up with the best economy. They had low crime. Majority were Christian. They got into power and now they won't let go. They control everything and they won't go. They won't let go until the day they die. They don't give their kids anything. They'd rather sell their house to a corporation which they bought for 10 grand in 1960 and sell it for $500,000 than to give their kids even anything. To give their kids even a slice of that. And they still control everything 70 years later. The average age of a congressperson is in their late 60s. They'd rather die. They would literally rather die than give up a single thing or be generous. And we gotta wait until they die, basically. That's what's gonna happen, is we literally have to wait because they're not gonna give it up. As I was saying earlier, Gen Z have to work more hours and still make less money due to inflation and the housing crisis. These two things have gotten so bad that most can't even move out if they wanted to. Rent is so expensive. Mortgages are so expensive. Flat out, prices on everything have basically gone up. And wages haven't matched that whatsoever. The average salary for a Gen Z person is 40 grand a year. $40,000 a year. That's about $20 an hour. $20 an hour. While the average house price is $400,000. That's 10 times your salary. 10 times. That is genuinely insane that it's gotten to this point. Like, woohoo, the stock market is up, but inflation is out of control and everything is unaffordable. The media would tell you, oh, stocks are up, everything's great, when nobody can afford anything. And on top of that, we have to compete for jobs against H-1Bs and migrants that'll take less pay because anything's better than where they're from. And on top of that, we get laid off all the time for that reason. Microsoft just laid off thousands of people and hired thousands of H-1B visas to work for them. Corporations are making all-time profits, but are laying off more than ever. And I didn't even mention college debt. Pay tens of thousands for college, or even hundreds of thousands, just to maybe make what, 60,000 a year, and you'll never get out of that debt. So college really isn't even a possibility. It's not even worth it anymore for most people, unless you're going to be a doctor or a dentist or something like that. Well, what's even the point? And talking to people, Gen Z, if you're listening to this, more of us need to get into the trades. That's where the money is right now. AI can't replace most of our jobs, okay? We're irreplaceable. I didn't even talk about AI. I have to talk about it in another video. But trades, being a tradesman is probably the best thing you can do right now. It doesn't take much money to get into. You don't even have to go to trade school for most of it. You can go to trade school like I did. Unfortunately, you will have to work a lot of hours. But this comes at that you don't have to go to college and be into debt. Trades make a lot of money, but yes, you have to work a lot, unfortunately. And as for me, the reason why I'm even making this video is because Gen Z is my generation. Most of us, or 50% of us, I can't remember the actual figure, have been aborted. Most of my generation is dead, or at least half of it. And it's sad to see what's happening, because as soon as we're born, it starts going downhill. Well, I mean, it has been going downhill for the past, 30 years, but really it's starting to evolve. And once the boomers die out, the millennials and Gen Z are going to be the ones that have to fix it. And as for me, I'm 20 years old. I went into a trade, and I'm trying to buy a home, get married, and start a family within the next 2 years. And I was just sitting down, and I was just like trying to figure out how much money do I gotta make, how many hours do I have to work to afford the American dream. And it's not like I make little money. I make over the average of 60,000. I make over that. But I also have to work 65, 70 hours a week. I get 4 days off a month if I'm lucky. And on top of that, I'm still living at home. So I'm trying to save everything I have, and I feel like I'm not making enough money still. I feel like I'm progressing so slowly, because everything's so expensive. And I desperately want to make my wife, I want to give her the opportunity to be a stay-at-home wife and be able to take care of our kids, because that is the most important job somebody could have. Most important job a woman could have. However, it's not really a possibility anymore. You have to have 2 incomes to live comfortably right now, both being full-time. And wait, this is the fun part. She cheats on you, divorces you, takes over 50% of all your money, and she takes your kids and the house that you spent the last 20 years working for, because over 50% of marriage ends in divorce now. It's like 51, 52%. And then you got to pay child support for your own kids until they're 18. It's truly a fall from grace from the American dream, the American family, 50, 60 years ago. We're nostalgic for a time we didn't even live through. And it's such a shame. Well, as I'm thinking, I've been sitting down writing this, and I was thinking, well, I'm complaining. All I'm doing is complaining, right? But really, what's our solution? And I was brainstorming this, and I think the only thing you can do is have a complete culture change in this country. We need to elect better people, but that's hard when they have foreign influences giving these politicians money that'll change what they do once they get elected. Or they'll give them money to get elected by going out and talking good, ads, stuff like that. But the only thing we can do is first value our citizens above other countries. We have to focus on us I'm not opposed to helping other countries, but right now we're $40 trillion in debt. We have to focus on us right now, okay? We have to focus on actual Americans. We need to prioritize marriage, family, and God as the center of the family. We gotta stop with single mothers. We gotta stop with divorce. No more atheism. I'm not saying that has to be law necessarily or anything like that. I'm just saying like a cultural thing. Like, not everything has to be celebrated, you know. Being a single mom doesn't need to be celebrated. Doesn't things have to be kind of looked down on. When somebody coughs and doesn't cover their mouth, they you say excuse you. So you got to have things like that to keep a good society, keep people together, get people to agree on things. I'm not saying it has to be law, but it definitely needs to be supported by the government. It definitely needs to be supported by its people. It's got to be a complete change from what it is now. We need to get back to God and family. Your occupation isn't the most important thing in your life, If you got hurt or you died, that company's replacing you instantly, okay? We're all replaceable. But you're not replaceable to your kids. You're not replaceable to your wife, okay? Those are the most important things you can ever do is get married and have kids. It's the most important thing anyone could do. I don't necessarily mind immigration. They need to accept their values and traditions. But that's the thing. A lot of people get mad at immigration and stuff. I'm mostly opposed to it, but the problem is we don't have the same culture we used to have. Things were different. And they would come here and they would assimilate. And they would adapt to our culture. But we don't really have that culture anymore. It needs to change. That's the reason why they don't assimilate, is because we don't really have that distinct culture that we used to have back in the 50s, 60s, 70s. But, like when you go to like Japan or you go to Germany or you go to Europe, you go there and you are a visitor, right? You're polite. You respect their culture. You're there to see. You're there to experience. You're not going to be acting like a hooligan, littering, committing crime. That's not what you do. You get there. If you're moving there, you get there and you kiss the ground, okay? And you do everything you can to be valuable to that society because they take you in, or you get you're a refugee there. They're saving you from where you're from. However, unfortunately, I don't see this ever happening. I don't think this could ever happen. Our nation is way too divided. We kill each other over political beliefs, over talking to each other. We just kill each other. Each side thinks they're right and don't have any flaws. They don't see any flaws in their own logic. We can't agree on anything. It's just name calling and insults. I would think, it's very radical, but the only way to change that would, just a total like takeover, like a dictatorship takeover. That's the only way that could happen. But obviously that's not happening. And I'm not saying that I'm in favor of that, of course. I'm just saying like the way our government is set up, that'll never happen. Due to our three branches, like the whole country would have to collapse for that kind of thing to happen, and that's not going to happen. We're the most powerful country in the world, and unfortunately, we're too divided right now. We're seeing the United States as the fall of Rome. The United States it's comparable to the fall of Rome. We are the fall of Rome right now, and unfortunately for us, once it's begun, it's impossible to stop. Unfortunately, there's not really anything we can do. All we can do is stay positive, work hard every day, doing what you love, doing what you think is right, All we can do is love our families, pray, and get better at what you want to do. Work hard. Do anything you can. Anyways, I do appreciate anybody that stuck around and watched the whole video, listen to me ramble on about this. I don't know why I sat down and recorded this video. I just wanted something to do, I guess. Get some beliefs out there that aren't too radical for YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Any of you guys that are watching. Let me know if to cover any other topics. I don't know. I have crazy opinions and moderate opinions. I have all kinds of things. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a great night, great day.